going on, everyone? Welcome inside the Deuce Vodka pregame show. I'm Josh. This is Jay. What a special Wednesday afternoon, Jay. This is so random.
Special indeed. I barely made it here.
Yeah, Jay literally just rolled in.
Oh, man. I'm trying to mix this in, the 3 p.m. game, into real life. This is a challenge, but whatever. I'm here for it.
I love it. It's fun for people like us because we understand that there's a lot of people out there that have, like, real... Well, we have real jobs, but, like, jobs where they would... Well, I don't know. But, like, jobs that wouldn't allow them to watch this game. But for us, like, a 3 o'clock game, I'm like, let's do it. I'm going to be watching the game, and then I'm going golfing after, and it's just going to be...
Oh, wow, you're having a day.
I am having a day today.
Wow. So, that's why he's smiling ear to ear. He's going golfing today.
I'm pretty excited. The Quarry, if you've never been, great course. I'm going there tonight. So, yeah, what do you think about this? An afternoon game. It's kind of odd, but...
Well, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, but you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. Like, I know that what are they trying to get 3 Canadian teams in tonight? Well, is that the
reason
programming?
that they did this is because obviously with this being a game out east, it's going to be a 5 o'clock puck drop. Of course, Wednesday night hockey, it's a big thing that Sportsnet does, but the main reason that they did this is because then technically it's a doubleheader, and then the primetime game tonight, which is the Habs versus the Leafs. So. Original 6 matchup, they wanted to have that in the primetime spot, so it was like, well, let's just make it a doubleheader and make the Oilers play the Sens at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. So hey, once again, out east reigns supreme. We'll never match up to them. They always are going to negotiate it around the scheduling out there.
Yeah, even though we got Connor McDavid, he's the most marketable player in the whole league. But anyways, we'll take 3 p.m., I guess.
Hey, you know what? This is actually kind of funny. Nils is in the comments already. Good evening.
He loves it.
An 11 p.m. game in Germany.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, I am thinking about our Euro friends, our German friends specifically, about how good that is for them. You can actually go to bed tonight and not wake up early, have to watch the game at 4 a.m. like you normally do.
The Edmonton Oilers are 7-0 against the Ottawa Senators this season. They're the only team in the North Division, Jay, that's undefeated against the Sens. The worst team in the division, but all of a sudden the Edmonton Oilers are the only team that has found this team solvable. Yeah. Like right now, of course, as I mentioned, the Oilers 7-0 against the Sens. Goal differential of plus 19. We were talking about some of the lines for the McDavid and Draisaitl point totals. We're going to get to that later, but just to kind of give you a snippet of what we're looking at, and this will kind of give you a hint at what the lines are looking at for tonight. McDavid and Draisaitl in those 7 games have combined for 33 points. 33 combined points in 7 games. That's absurd.
They can't contain the two-headed monster.
But this is also the first time that these two teams are going on a back-to-back, Jay, this season. They've played 7 times. None of them have been on a back-to-back, which in a normal season you'd be like, well, yeah, of course these teams didn't play on a back-to-back. That would be absurd. But in a COVID-ridden season, we've seen a lot of the times when these teams are playing twice in a matter of a couple days, the NHL has made it so these teams are playing on back-to-back days. This will be the first time Ottawa and Edmonton does it. But, Jay, coming into this game, the Ottawa Senators, this is a different team than the Oilers faced earlier in the season. The Sens, according to Tyler Yaremchuk's Instagram story here, looking at his pregame podcast, the Sens have points in 7 of their last 10 games, which is the same number as the Edmonton Oilers.
That's pretty good. They've definitely played better as of late, and they've been getting good goaltending as of late. We always knew the Sens were going to be pesky, but you know what? There's always that like how certain teams match up, or the matchup just works in the one team's favor, and the Oilers apparently match up against them, even if they are playing good. I think the last time we played them, They had a pretty good track record kind of in the last like 5 games.
Going into it,
yeah, going into it and beating some big teams like the Leafs and Habs and Winnipeg and whatnot. So, once again, you always got to respect the Senators. They've got a lot of talent. They're very green, but they got a lot of talent on that team. And if they can get some goaltending, they are a pain in the ass. So, can't take it lightly. But I expect, especially after giving up the loss like we did in Montreal, which I'm still rattled about because that's not taking a night off. That is, you had the game locked and loaded and you just gave it away for no reason.
Yeah.
So, they have to go and win this game. Not a must-win game, but they just have to do it.
Edmonton Oilers are 23-14-2 on the season, 48 points. That puts them 3rd in the North Division. The Sens, as mentioned, 13-22-4 on the season, 30 points, puts them last in the North, minus 42 goal differential for the Sens this season. Jay, we're going to talk about it a little bit later on in the show. It's part of our headlines.
Yep.
The 2 lineups that we see tonight and tomorrow out of the Edmonton Oilers, they could be slightly different, of course, of it being a back-to-back going against a lesser strong team, I guess you could say. You know, we could see two different lineups. But first, let's talk about tonight's lineup. We're going to see RNH, McDavid, and Puljujärvi once again. Draisaitl, Kahun, and Yamamoto. The third line is where we're seeing that big shift. Our guy, Gator Haas, Gaetan, not in the lineup tonight. Kyle Turris drawing back in with Cassian and Archibald. And then Kara, Shore, and Chason on that fourth line. Jay, is it getting crunch time for Kyle Turris, where if he wants to be that right shot center on that third line that's winning faceoffs, unless they're going to trade for Luke Glendening, Kyle Turris this is pretty much crunch time for him. You have an opportunity here. And unless you seize this role, which you've yet to do so far this season, you're not going to be in the lineup come playoffs because the Oilers are going to make a deal for another guy.
100%. Like, we need Kyle Turris to be the player that we thought he was coming in. And he has shown a little bit of brilliance as of late. A little bit, but... Man, I'm a Gaetan Haas fan. Why are we taking him out? Put him somewhere else.
Well, where would you put him in? Would you put him on the fourth line and then take Shore or Chason out?
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know. I don't know.
I could understand because Gaetan Haas can play the wing. We've seen him play the wing in the Dave Tippett lineup before.
But who do you take out?
You're taking out Devon Shore. But Devon Shore also just had a great goal against the Habs.
Had a good game.
So, yeah, it's...
I guess
I could see it go either way.
This is an experiment. This is like get Turris back in, see how he plays. Playing against his former team too.
Yep.
So I'd see how he steps up and all that. So I understand
the
logic behind the experiment.
It's an opportunity here. I know he's had so many opportunities this season already talking about Kyle Turris, but it really does feel like as we sit here less than a week away from the trade deadline, Kyle Turris, there's a good chance, isn't going to have that spot come a week from now. Well, obviously, worrying about the COVID protocol and stuff if they do acquire a guy from down south, but it's like, unless Kyle Turris absolutely lights it up over the next 2 days, there's a good chance he's not in the lineup anymore.
Yeah, 100%. This is it. Now, $1 million question. Are we making a trade?
I think we will. Yeah,
No.
I think if I had to put a line on it,
Do you think so?
I would say, let us know what you guys think. I would say it's minus 120 right now that the Oilers trade for Luke Glendening. He fits exactly the role that Dave Tippett and Ken Holland have shown us in the past of the type of players that they love.
So that pushes Gaetan Haas out of the third line.
Yes.
Which I'm okay with.
But I think then he goes to the wing, and I think that makes guys like Alex Chason and Devon Shore a little bit more expendable. The main reason I say that is because we've seen that Dave Tippett is always going to defer to a player that plays in the bottom six that A, can take faceoffs, and B, can kill penalties.
Yeah.
Which, yes, Gaetan Haas can do both, but that's why we're seeing a guy like Tyler Ennis not in the lineup tonight. Because Tyler Ennis doesn't do either of those things. He doesn't kill penalties and he doesn't take faceoffs. And Dave Tippett and both Ken Holland, they love bottom six players that can do both of those things. You've got to be able to do one of the two or else you're not going to survive in an Oilers lineup.
That's fair.
So that's why I think Luke Glendening, he's a right shot center who can play in the bottom six. His cap hit's not great, but you can get him for pretty cheap. But then also at the same time, is he really a step up from Gaetan Haas? Like, he's a better faceoff guy, which is what's
important.
But anyways, let's talk about the defensemen. Nurse Berry, Russell, Larson, Jones, Bear, Koskinen getting the start tonight. Obviously, as Jay mentioned, Kyle Turris playing against his former team. We're getting some comments here. We can talk about trade deadline a little bit later on.
Okay.
But apparently, if there's one guy in Edmonton we know that has a heartbeat on the inner workings of this team, it's Bob Stauffer.
Yeah.
And according to some comments coming in, apparently there was a lot of Taylor Hall talk on 630 Ched today about a potential trade for the Edmonton Oilers being in on the Taylor Hall sweepstakes.
Well, and if you want to be a conspiracy theorist, is that why Haas is out? Like, I can't remember what his contract is. Like, because it's money in, money out.
So Haas would be part of the deal.
Like, we have to shed some salary.
Yeah, but what does Haas make? Like
$1 million.
Yeah, he makes like 800 or $1 million. So it's not even close to enough money in, money out. Buffalo would have to.
Well, no, I know it's like part of like.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. If it was like, if like a guy like, I don't know, like if.
Do we want Taylor Hall?
No, I can't even touch that.
Oh, I'm so like I just my heart says no, but like I know he's a good player, but like he's not playing that great this year. I understand Buffalo sucks and that has an impact on it. It's such a polarizing subject. It really is.
Chris says Shore has been great over the last while. But good problem to see when you have so many decent NHL players fighting for spots in the lineup, and then Chris also comes in and says, "What do you guys think about the Hall rumors?" Yeah, it's Taylor Hall's value has never been lower. It has never been lower. If you could somehow swing a deal where you're going to get Taylor Hall for like, what's the difference between if you're Ken Holland, are you making a deal? Are you willing to trade a 3rd round pick for Luke Glendening? Or would you do a 1st for Taylor Hall? If you have one of those two options on the table,
a 1st for Taylor Hall.
If you can get Taylor Hall for a 1st, you do that 1,000 times out of 1,000, 100%, and especially if he's going to re-sign, because I think there's a chance.
Yeah, he'd have to re-sign.
I think there's a chance he could re-sign.
I just hope he's matured.
Well, I think
but I'm still seeing things that drive me nuts about him, and all I care about, off-ice antics and whatnot. I want a good teammate. Someone who is on the ice, who plays for the guy beside him, and will back him up, as opposed to just fly by or always be tying the skates when shit gets hot.
I 100% see that. I know we've talked about this in the
past.
Especially
in the playoffs.
We've talked about this, is that Taylor Hall has a bad track record.
And he gets hurt a lot.
About talking about being a teammate. I think the biggest difference between now, I know you could look at his time in New Jersey, look at his time in Buffalo, and say, okay, those are sample sizes as well. He was the same in both of those destinations too. But the thing for me is that if he comes into this Edmonton team right now, this Edmonton team is so different from the one that he played on 5 years ago. You know what I mean?
That's
because
accurate.
The fact that he comes in, if you're Taylor Hall, you're not kingpin anymore. You and Jordan Eberle are not tearing up Cactus Club every night and running this city. You know what I mean? Like, he's coming in.
I don't even care about off-ice antics.
No, but I mean,
I do, but
I don't even mean that. I just mean more so that there's 3 players on this team that are better than you are, and you're not the king anymore. And this team doesn't revolve around you. It's McDavid, Draisaitl, and Darnell Nurse's team. Those 3 run the room. And if you aren't going to be a part of the solution here, I think Connor McDavid has made it pretty clear that he wants to win a Stanley Cup in Edmonton. And if Taylor Hall isn't part of the solution in that, then it's not going to work. But I think if Taylor Hall goes to Ken Holland, if Connor McDavid goes to Ken Holland, and Ken Holland says, we want to acquire Taylor Hall, Connor, what do you think about it? I think if Connor McDavid says, yep, we can make it happen, and we will make it under
If Connor says yes,
then it's
I'm
happening.
in. Because
then it's happening.
The thing is best believe they asked Connor for his blessing on the Larson trade.
Yeah.
So...
Aaron says, I don't get why people want Hall. I thought he sucked, to be honest. When has he played good in the NHL? Yeah, he's
won a heart, but
he hasn't been great.
I can't believe I'm defending Taylor Hall right now.
Yeah, listen, this is...
What a bizarro world. It's a 3 p.m. game that's thrown me off today. My whole world's shifted.
But, yeah, I do not have time for people saying that Taylor Hall isn't a good NHL player. He's won a Hart Trophy. He has wheels, man. That guy beside Connor McDavid would be dynamite. You don't think that he would put up 30 goals on McDavid's wing year in, year out? Like, Taylor Hall is exactly the player that we want to put on Connor McDavid's wing for the next 6 years. If you can get Taylor Hall on a team-friendly deal and sit him on Connor McDavid's wing for the next 6 years, the Oilers will win a Stanley Cup. It's simple as that. We are missing so many pieces up front to make this team a contender. I don't want to be negative about it, but, like, Taylor Hall is part of the solution. And maybe not even Taylor Hall. I more so mean a Taylor Hall type. Like we're missing a top 6 forward.
Yeah, and that I agree. But like how if we trade for him, how the hell are we going to re-sign him?
That's the thing. Is if we're not going to re-sign him, then I don't want him. We have to re-sign him. Yeah. The first would not be worth it unless he's going to re-sign.
Oh, exactly.
And it would have to be a team-friendly deal. Because if you
want, that's the thing. Is he willing to do a team-friendly deal? Well, and what is a team-friendly deal for Taylor Hall?
A team-friendly deal for Taylor Hall is a deal that means that the Oilers can also sign Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
So, but what is the dollar amount? $6 million?
5 by 6. Yeah, it would have to be 5 by 6. But he could probably hit free agency and get 8 by 8 if he wanted, which is the sad thing. You know what I mean? Like if you can get Taylor Hall.
Can he own a flat cap?
I think he could still get 8.
What about like a 3 by 6?
He would not sign for that long.
He needs certainty. But if he wants to chase the big money, like your 2 by...
What if he 1 year deal? 1 year 7.5. Would you
bet on yourself? Yeah. Do you have the stones, Taylor?
See, but I don't really appreciate any more of that. He's done that twice now. You know what I mean? That would be 2 years in a row.
He's never bet on himself. This is the first time he did it.
He just did with Buffalo.
That's the first time.
That's what I mean. This would be the second time. But
and the only reason why he did it because it was a flat cap and he couldn't get the deal that he wanted. Yeah. Like, let's be honest.
But if I think that it would... I think that if he were to sign a 1 year deal in Edmonton, I just feel like it wouldn't be good for the whole narrative. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna come to Edmonton, you gotta let's buy in. Let's make this happen. Let's get term. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's talk about tonight's game. I get so fired up talking about this. We have
options.
I love deadline
There's
talk.
other options.
I absolutely love deadline talk. Okay, one more. Chris says Neil, Turris, Marody, and a second for Hall. I don't think Buffalo would do it. I don't think it's not enough because Neil and Turris would be salary out. They don't care about either of those players. So essentially, it's Marody and a second. Second wouldn't get it done. I would say Marody's probably a B-level prospect, so I don't know if that would get it done.
Yeah.
I don't think it would.
No.
David says get Hoffman. Taylor Sims says the ranch is gone. Taylor Hall should be fine if he comes back. Yeah, right.
That's a good one.
Nil says he's a Hart Trophy winner. Linda says bought a Hall jersey a few years ago at a grad sale. Would be all right to wear it again. Yeah, how many Oilers fans are there that have Taylor Hall jerseys?
So what number does he wear if he comes back?
He can't wear 4.
Can't wear 9.
Cowboy has it. Who has?
Glenn
retired. Who's?
Glenn Anderson.
Glenn Anderson. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. Lots of mixed opinion on Hall, man.
Yeah, I don't.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a polarizing subject. I am of the no camp, but I'm trying to live in a world if it does happen, how do I live with it?
Yeah. If Taylor Hall, excuse me, I feel like I'm about to sneeze here. If Taylor Hall does end up coming to Edmonton, and if he signs a deal immediately, like if it's a sign and trade or a trade and he signs immediately, I'll buy a Taylor Hall jersey. I'll buy one immediately.
Yeah, you have to.
I will. I swear.
Yeah,
this is on record right now.
If you should buy one of every flavor of Taylor Hall.
If Taylor Hall comes to Edmonton and he signs immediately, I'll buy a Taylor Hall jersey. Okay, Jay, how do you approach the next 2 games if you're the Edmonton Oilers? Because as we mentioned, they're 7-0 versus the Ottawa Senators. You know, you're going into this. It doesn't necessarily have playoff implications. Sure, in the sense that this could have an impact on, home ice advantage or the teams that you play. You've shellacked this team 7 times in a row. But this is also a Sens team that comes out firing, and they've been trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
So how do you approach it?
Like, I think the gulf between us and first place is too deep now. It's too big, too vast.
Between the Oilers and the Leafs?
I think it is.
I'll pull up the standings just as Jay's continuing here.
I think it is.
The Leafs have 55 points. The Oilers have 48.
Yeah, 7 points and not a lot of games. So we do have to play for second place. We do want home ice advantage. So I think that's important that we do that. So how do we take these next 2 games? Like, until things are a little bit more solidified, like, we just got to find our game to get our game, because we fell asleep against Montreal twice in the last in a 7-day span, and that's a concern. That's a legitimate concern, because this is someone that we could meet in the playoffs come the second round. Could Montreal beat the Leafs if they're 1-4? I think Montreal's set up to be a good playoff team, so that could happen. So and they did a good job shutting down. They've shut down the 2-headed monster pretty well this season.
Yeah.
So I think we gotta go and use Ottawa for some good practice. Get
careful. Some good.
Well, but like we've set up well against them. We've got to beat them. We got to beat them up, and we got to.
Like you said, certain teams match up well against certain teams, and the Oilers have matched up well.
And we got to regain a little bit of the confidence, because that's like as if Connor and Leon ever lose confidence because they're Connor and Leon, but still, like, it's when they get goals, that's momentum, and so we need to use these next 2 games to create some momentum. So when we go back and play Montreal here on Game 3 here, which is on Saturday, I think, right, of this next little stand.
Game 3.
Oh no, it's Battle of Alberta.
Yeah,
it's the Flames. Okay.
Yeah. Before we jump into our DEUCE Vodka player mode, Jay, something we talked about on State of the Nation yesterday. We talked about this last week as well. Is that obviously we see the top 4 teams in the North Division. If you had to play one of those teams in the first round, like, who do you feel the most confident against if you're the Edmonton Oilers? And why is it the Winnipeg Jets? Because that's where I'm leaning right now.
I'm feared. Because we've matched up so far in the regular season, which has some relevance. Best against the Jets. We have a better record against them than we do against the Leafs and Montreal.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because they're so deep up there.
That's what I suggest. But like, the 2 teams I'm scared about in the playoffs that are more set up for playoffs is actually Winnipeg and Montreal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind playing the Leafs in the first round. People might think I'm crazy, but like, I feel like we can out-grit them. And like, if we can wear them down, like, that's how you eliminate the Leafs, is just wear them down.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to do our DEUCE Vodka player modes?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go for my DEUCE Vodka player mode. I'm gonna pick our boy Kyler Yamamoto.
Nice.
And I want him to enter because he's a young boy. Like, school's out early.
Oh, nice. It's a 3 p.m. game.
It's a 3 p.m.
Yeah.
School is out early.
Early dismissal.
Because that's what they used to do in the AHL and other leagues is they do the early game, so you like skip class to watch a game. So I want Yamamoto to skip class and have some fun against the Senators mode.
I like that because it's even like
Backpack, bring your backpack, your Transformer lunchbox, your juice box, your peanut butter and jam sandwich that your mom made for you and cut off the crust because we know you don't like crust, Kyler. And hopefully some kind of delicious treat or fruit pack, and just come to the Canadian Tire Center and just whoop the Sens for us, buddy.
Fruit roll-up guy. I think Kyler Yamamoto to be a fruit. Maybe a Dunkaroo guy.
Love Dunkaroos. Love fruit roll-ups. Fruit by the foot.
Gushers, the fruit
gushers.
gushers.
Oh, gushers, yeah.
So for my Juice Vodka player mode, I'm gonna go Kyle Turris, and I believe it was 2017 or 2016 when the Ottawa Senators came one post away from the Stanley Cup final, and Kyle Turris is part of the core of that team. Kyle Turris, let's just enter 2017 playoff mode.
Not that long ago.
No, it's not that long ago.
You're in the building that you did it in.
Yeah, it's crazy to
find your inspiration.
It's crazy to think that was that short a time ago that Kyle Turris was a part of that core Ottawa team that had, Erik Karlsson and who's the guy that plays on the
Hoffman,
Mark Stone,
Pajot.
Like, that team is stacked, man. That Ottawa team. It's crazy how quick of a turnaround it was for them. It's like almost like WHL style, where you're unbelievable one year and then the next year you're in the dumps.
Yeah, it's wild. And like in Father Time is undefeated, and Turris is a little bit later in his career, so 4 years is a big difference.
All right, Jay, I got the lineup pulled up here for the Edmonton Oilers.
Do you?
Tonight.
I can't tell.
Why?
He's got an old man font. It's like giant.
Well, I just zoomed in so we could both see it clearly.
Yeah, well, I got to pull it right here, and I got on
I guess you got it.
Got like 2-point font here. Got not old dad eyes.
I got dad eyes, but that's okay. This obviously is first game of a back-to-back tonight. The Oilers are deep in the sense that we have a lot of players that could be in the lineup and out of the lineup on a night-in, night-out basis. A couple players that aren't playing tonight: Evan Bouchard, William Legason, James Neal, Gaetan Haas.
If we win tonight, Bouchard better play tomorrow.
Ennis, Nygaard. There's a lot of players that aren't playing. So, who's coming in tomorrow?
Hopefully Bouchard. If we win tonight, Bouchard should come in tomorrow.
So if we lose tomorrow, you're not playing Bouchard?
Well, we got to win. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe if someone has a bad game, then yeah. But I think Bouchard should play.
I think Bouchard's got to get in tomorrow no matter what.
We need to get him in.
We got to get him in.
Yeah.
Got to get Bouchard playing a game.
Yeah.
Or send him down. One of the two. Yeah. Is that it? You're going to bring because it's back-to-back, you're not going to bring Gaetan Haas back in, James Neal, Tyler Ennis.
Well, of course I want to see Gaetan Haas come back in, but then that means Turris had a bad game. So now I don't know what I'm cheering for, but I love Gaetan Haas. So maybe
on the fourth line?
Maybe I put him on the wing. Yeah, so we'll see how the fourth line performs. But they've been good. They were good against Montreal. I actually like the makeup of that line, so that's good. But Koskinen, buddy.
Yeah, Koskinen getting the start tonight.
We need you. We need a big game from you. Like not like the biggest game, but just, a good game.
Mikko Koskinen 3-0 versus the Ottawa Senators in 3 starts, .937 save percentage, 2.0 goals against average. But looking at Jason Greger's GDB here on Oilersnation.com, he's allowed a goal on the first shot in his 2 previous starts against the Sens. Both of his 2 previous starts, he went Cam Talbot mode and let in the first goal of the game, or the first shot of the game.
Yeah,
so it's just bad. Frick.
And he did it against Montreal.
But then he'll go and play unbelievable the rest of the night. It's
sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what, Mikko? Just a good performance against the Ottawa Senators. That's all we ask. And hopefully the squad in front of you delivers as well.
Edmonton Oilers, -196 on the money line tonight. Hey, even if you wanted to...
What's that in the decimals? Because once again, maybe it's not as bad as we think.
151, 1.5.
All right, so you bet 100 and you get a 150 back. So that's $50. That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's actually crazy how much it switches when you look at it.
I know.
But that's almost bad because then it's deceiving that it's like, oh, you're getting good odds.
But it's not as bad. Well, but it just allows you to put it in perspective that it's not as bad, because at -192, you're like, I am absolutely not touching that.
Yeah.
But at 1.5 to 1, maybe.
Keep sending in your questions. We're going to do a little bit of money talk, and then we'll get to some questions at the end. So feel free to jump in if it's Taylor Hall related, deadline related, lineup related, goal related.
Thomas Hurdle.
Tomas Hurdle.
Tomash. Tomasho.
Or just Jay life related. If you have a life question for Jay, we can answer those as well.
Yeah, bring it. Bring it.
Okay. -1.5 for the Edmonton Oilers is only +125.
Not worth it.
But we also
Live bet. I would just wait to live
Just
bet.
live bet?
I would just wait for live betting. To win by 2. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Like that's it's a challenge. It's a challenge. So and the odds aren't worth it. It was like +2. It's got to start with a 2.
Yeah.
It's got to start for a 2 to make it worth your while.
But there's so many odds on tonight's game that aren't worth it. Like tonight, it's almost like one of those games where if you're gonna bet on tonight's game, like you're gonna bet on just like a random player getting a goal.
Well, hey, my boy Kaylor Lunchbox, I'm bet on him to score. Plus 280. That's juicy. Today for me, it's I'm not a smart bettor by any means. I'm not a smart bettor by any means, but I'm just gonna have fun with props because the juice isn't worth the squeeze on chasing odds on the puck line.
Or even McDavid or Drysdale.
But I might live bet the outcome should we let a first shot goal in.
Oh, that's that.
Hopefully we don't. Knocking on wood.
That might actually be good. Okay, you want to jump into some questions here?
Well, let me finish.
Do you want to say anything else?
So I think Connor's going supernova. I think Leon's going supernova. So I'm playing props. I'm probably going.
You should do shots. Shots would be a good one for tonight.
Both of I haven't looked at
like
shots,
McDavid and Drysdale?
but Leon and Drysdale over 2.5 points. I think is something I'm going to sprinkle, and then probably a Yamo goal just because I really love that guy.
I really love that guy.
I just really do.
McDavid over 3.5 shots is 192. Or if you're doing
minus 109.
-109.
Yeah.
So you might convert me here to a decimal guy.
It makes more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, but like in Canada, when people are talking about betting, it's always lines like minuses.
I know we need to change that because whenever I talk betting with my Australian friends, they
always
always talk
decimals.
that. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
That's kind of weird.
But I think that's the right way. I'm sorry, my opinion.
It's kind of like decimals. American. We should have a Canadian version. We should switch to something else like fractions.
Decimals should be Canadian.
Fractions.
Oh.
1/32th or something.
32th.
1/32th. 32nd. Yeah, sorry. I'm not a math guy.
Anyways,
We're a word guy.
I'm dangling in the either the live betting, but I'm starting my pregame bets as all props.
What about the total? You should go total.
Like goals?
Yeah, total goals over 6.5 is +120. That's not great odds on 6.5. That's a lot of goals.
That's so many goals.
So
but
many goals.
you know what? I don't normally play over under, but I could be enticed to sprinkle a bit on the over.
Okay, send in your questions. We're gonna get to a couple questions here before we wrap up because we are less than an hour away from puck drop. Which
I know.
Is
I got to rush. I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Still got work to do.
First one coming in. It's coming from Sean Jones, my brother-in-law. He says, Nuge needs a night in the press box. Sorry, Oilers Nation. What do you say about that? Well, I would never say something like that.
He probably texted him to say that.
I disagree. Why would you say that? I love Nuge.
Everyone can see that there's some facetiousness here to his tone. It's the Nuge, man.
I didn't tell him to say that. I swear to you.
It's the Nuge. It's the Nuge. No press box for Nuge.
I'm not going to say anything. Chris Runn says, besides Hall and Glendenning, is there any other rumors you've heard? Is your sources pushing?
Well, it's my sources. Well, check out the DFO rundown. Hell of an episode on Monday.
Yeah, those are our sources.
Drager, LeBrun, Saravalli, Gregor, Uremchuk, who is the king of the show.
Yep.
Hey, you want to talk about something that's freaking crazy? Is the Nation Network? It's like the fourth. It's like ranked 4th in hockey podcasts in North America at the present moment.
I saw that on your story.
That is
Nation's buzzing
wild.
Buzzing.
So, anyways.
And also dropping the gloves. Some big guests coming up as well.
Rock. They had Brady Tkachuk on this week. This week. And they have Pasternak coming up.
And they Kirby Doc as well?
Kirby Doc, they had the week before. Cousins is coming up.
Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Great. Check out great program. Slightly better than this one.
Great program.
Check it out. What the hell are we talking about?
Rumors.
Rumors.
Yeah.
So, Hurdle, Raquel. I'm trying to think of people not named Taylor Hall to try to get in our top 6. Because if we want to have any type of deep run, we need a top 6 player. So that's the question: is now is this season the time to do it, or do we have to load up in the off season? what can Uncle Ken pull off? What is the reality? So if we can get like, there's like 3 needs. There's a defenseman, there's a top 6, and then there's a Glendening type center. If we can get 2 or 3, we might have a chance to go in deep.
Yes. Okay, Chris Noss just asked us, would you guys potentially target Thomas Tatar in the offseason? What's the cap hit look like? Tatar is a UFA at the end of this season, last year of a $5.3 million deal. Let's look at some numbers.
How old is he?
Thomas Tatar is
30.
30. I don't really have any numbers for like goals or anything like that, but here it is. Right now, Tatar has 8 goals, 22 last season, career best 29 goal score, and that was in 2014.
And there's a Ken Holland Tatar connection, right?
Likely, yeah.
Right. I think he came out of Detroit.
Yeah.
Not my first choice. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can play either side, left or right.
Talent. Yeah, talent. But I think we can do better.
You just got your eye on Taylor Hall first.
I have my eye so far off Taylor Hall.
Nicholas says, do you guys have an eye on Bako? The first line is incredible. And then Nils says, take on the Benson, Marody, McLeod line. 80 even strength points in 69 combined games. Yeah, that top line in Bako right now is lighting it up. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of options. I've heard some rumblings about Ryan McLeod being closer to NHL ready than he's ever been. And the step that he's taken this year in regards to just like the physicality and getting to use that big frame of his and being an NHL caliber player, like Ryan McLeod is not as far off as people would think.
Well, that's great. That's what you like to hear. Like, that was a good pick. We heard there was that potential when we brought him on, so I'm glad to hear he's taking that step. Him and Holloway are going to push for some spots next season.
Hey, if Dylan Holloway didn't have a broken thumb right now,
he'd be playing down there. I know. Heal up fast, buddy. It'd be great if you can play some AHL games this season.
Well, he might even, like, I don't know how it would work with the ELC, and it'd be tough to bring him all the way up to Canada, but, like, if this was a non-COVID year, there's a good chance Dylan Holloway would be getting a team with, like, a couple of games with the big club already. There's a chance.
Yeah.
But then I don't think it would burn a year in his ELC, because I think you have to play 8 games to burn a year. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Anyways. Chris Runn says, if the Oilers did nothing at the deadline, would you be disappointed?
Oh, that's a very good question. If we do nothing at the deadline, it means the cost was too high to get what we need. And I would probably be okay with it. I would probably be okay with it provided we make a lot of big moves. Like it's such. This season's so interesting because we don't have that many picks in this draft, and this draft is also a crapshoot too. So they're not as valuable as they were before. So like we don't have a lot of trade capital right now unless we're willing to part with some key prospects.
Yeah.
So if we have to identify who we're willing to part with, and if we can use that and what we've got to get what we need, that's great. And if Uncle Ken can pull it off, that's great. Yeah. But if the market won't allow us, then I'm fine, because I think then it's like, okay, or like for the long-term goal of the organization, it's like, okay, it didn't work out for this season, but for the next 3 seasons, we've got the capital, the trade capital, and we also have cap room too, to start making big moves. So I do obviously want to see some kind of activity right now for a chance, but like if it's because if the price is too high to get what we need, I'm totally at peace with not doing it, and then just praying that like we just overachieve and go deep. Because getting out of the North, I still think the Oilers can get out of the North as is. I still do. And maybe it's because I funneled the Kool-Aid and it's so delicious.
But probably this year more than ever, if you're looking at it from like a bracket standpoint, this year more than ever, the Oilers would have a great chance to make it to the Final Four. Come out of the North. You know
and that's a success. Yeah. That's a success any season.
But if you're going to make it that deep and you're going to go that far, would you not be like, okay, whoa, we just made it out of the North. We got to beat 2 teams and we are Stanley Cup champions. Would you not want to be stacked up and ready to go in that situation? and not
If we can get it, if we can
Yeah.
make it happen, that's the thing. Like, what are you giving away? If all of a sudden we have, because once again, we don't have draft picks.
Yeah, and more than ever right now, the Edmonton Oilers, because obviously it changes team by team, but the Oilers, you kind of have one of two things if you're an NHL team. You're either stacked up in draft picks or you're stacked up in prospects, and the Oilers have prospects.
Yep.
But it's a matter of which guys are you willing to move.
Yep.
Matthew Wozniak, I went to school with this guy. He says,
We chatted yesterday. How you doing, buddy?
He says, is a deal for Taylor Hall really possible right now? I can't see him coming back until the summer at least. When we talk about possibility for a deal for Taylor Hall.
Well, of course, anything's
of course
possible. It's just, what are we giving up, and should we?
It's money in, money out. That's what any transaction. Ken Holland said this yesterday.
And we have to throw incentive on that, because if they're going to take up cap space from us, that comes at a price.
Yeah, because Buffalo, they're in a bad spot, but they're also in a good spot, because other general managers in the NHL know Taylor Hall's a valuable player. He also had a crappy season, but Buffalo's also in an okay spot, because if they do want to end up dealing Taylor Hall, they're going to get some good assets in return. It's just a matter of taking on salary as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he might go for cheap if there's no salary exchange.
Yeah. Chris says #Dog Park Insider. Yeah, you seen any?
I've been in the dog park. Well, the Oilers are on the road, so it's tough for me to engage them at the dog park. So hopefully next week there's some encounters. Trust me, I'll be pounding the pavement.
Nil says, didn't Holland move Tatar to Vegas? Yeah, because he did get dealt from Detroit to Vegas, but did he get picked in the expansion draft, or did he get traded? Transactions, I can see it right here. If I pull
Tatar
it up.
was part,
He was traded from Detroit to Vegas in 2018. Holland would have been a part of the.
That's the expansion draft, though, isn't it? Or
No,
is
it says trade. It says trade in 2018, because they came in 2017? 2016?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Sean says, saw some talk about the Oilers trading their first rounder this week. Any actual chance that happens if we can get a certified top 6 winger potentially with term? Hey, if you can get a top 6 winger with term, you're trading your first round pick.
1,000,000%, because this is, if you're going to trade your first round pick, this is a good year to do it, because it's such a crapshoot.
Yeah.
It's such a crapshoot. So, like, it's not as valuable as it was. So, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, especially if you can get term. If you can get term. It's tough for a UFA or a pending UFA like Taylor Hall, because it's like, you're trading your first round pick for potentially 7 games with Taylor Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not worth it. Mm-hmm. But if you can get a sign and trade, or you can get another guy with term, like if you go to
they still take, and once again,
salary.
they still take something of
like
ours.
Anaheim, if you have to throw an incentive in, like Caleb Jones and a first for Rickard Rakell, obviously there'd have to be some salary going in either direction as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Rickard Rakell has term at the end of this season.
Yep.
He has 2 or 3 more years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a guy where it would be more enticing to send a first rounder in the other direction.
Yep.
Okay. That is a lot of trade talk.
That is a lot of trade talk.
We're excited. We're going to be back again tomorrow.
Well, the trade deadline's coming. I guess we are back tomorrow. It's something's maybe going to be happening, and if it's happening, it's right away.
Yeah, we're on the brink here, because I guess we have a game today, we have a game on Saturday, and then we don't have another game until the deadline, I believe, because the deadline's on Monday, Jay?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Is there an Oilers game on Monday? There's got to be, with the way that the season schedule is set up.
No, well, I don't think there is, because I think it's supposed to be Vancouver the 12th and the 14th.
Well, let's see.
And I think they've been notified that it's not happening, yeah.
Yeah, I guess
so. There might be some rescheduling of games.
There could be some rescheduling. If you guys are interested, let us know. Like, I don't know about you, Jay, what you're doing on Monday, but I could potentially, maybe we could do a little live show on Monday, and we could do some trade deadline talk.
Sure.
A little bit Oilers Nation version of the Insiders. We can talk about it.
But, why not?
I'm just kind of throwing this at you on the spot here. But Monday's going to be an exciting
Well, you
day.
asked me in front of all of you, so I have to say yes.
Yes, you have to say yes now.
I'm guilted in.
We'll see. Let us know if you want to see a live trade deadline show on Monday. Last thoughts before we wrap up, and we are less than 45 minutes away from podcast.
Win the game. Win the game.
You play to win the game.
Just win the game.
Yes.
I don't care. Just win the game.
Enjoy it. 3 o'clock game. Enjoy it. Maybe drink a couple Nation beers, and then once the game wraps up, you'll be close to 5.
You have a full evening ahead of you.
Yeah. Go to the dog park. Get out. Enjoy the beautiful weather.
It is nice outside.
Hit the driving range, or maybe play a little golf like me. Enjoy the game. This is the DEUCE Vodka pregame show. I'm Josh. This is Jay. Bet responsibly, and we will see you